Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Victoria's Creations. In this video we are going to be making memory bears. So this pattern wasn't easy for me to find because of everything that's happening in the world right now. So hopefully you can find something. The pattern I have is this one here. It's the Simplicity A1191. When I bought it, it was $1.97 at Walmart. Now it's really hard to find this specific pattern. But if you have it laying around, here's a video on how to do it. I will post some links in the description for patterns that are very similar to this. So this video should help you with those as well. But let's jump right in, and feel free to like, subscribe, and comment below if you like my video. For our bear pattern, you are going to want your basic sewing supplies: scissors, pins, thread, your sewing machine, and you are going to want an iron for pressing your dart seams. So let's get into getting it cut out and move on to the first step. Okay, so the first thing I have is I have cut out my pieces. So you want to cut 2 of bare back B and 2 of bare front B. So let's start by piecing these together. So step 1 wants you to make a dart seam at the lower edge of your bare front sections. So I have my bare front, and we cut out a dart seam down here. So here's my dart seam. I've stitched my dart seam. So now when I flip it over, it looks like that. So that's going to be the bottom of the bear. So let's move on to the next step. Now we're just going to press our dart seam towards the leg. So here's the leg, here's the dart seam. I'm going to take my iron, I'm going to press it flat towards the leg. Now we're going to do our center seam. So we're going to do right sides together again. We're going to line our 2 front sections up, and we're just going to stitch the center seam. So all along here. So I'm going to get that stitched, and then we'll move on to step number 2. Okay, so we stitched our center seam. Now you're going to clip your curves. So I just like to do a couple clips just like this. I don't get fancy. So I've clipped my curves, and now we're going to attach or embroider our eyes. I do have an embroidery machine, but I'm just going to do safety eyes and nose for this. If you want to use your machine, go for it. If you want to hand embroider them, have at it. But we're just going to open our bears up and put our eyes, and then I'm going to put a little nose on them as well. So let me get those attached, and then we'll move on. Now we have the front of our bear. So it should look like that. Okay, so now we're going to put him to the side, and we're going to bring our back bear section. So what step 2 wants us to do is, on your piece, there's this little corner here. So you have your dart in this corner. It wants us to stitch this and then clip it. So on your pattern piece, I'm going to just stitch my seam allowance right here, and then I'm just going to clip that. So I've stitched it. I tried to use a thread that I would hope would show on the camera, so it's green. So I've stitched just that little section, and I'm just going to clip to the corner, not through my stitching, on both pieces. Just like that. Now we're ready to move on to step number 3. So step 3 is basically what we did with step 1. We're going to create our dart seams. So on this bear section, we have our dart down here. So you're going to just fold it over and stitch on both sections. Okay, so I've got my dart seam stitched, and again we are going to press it towards the leg. Okay, so I've ironed my darts, and now you just stitch your center seam. Leave an opening in the back for turning your bear, and then clip your corners. Okay, now is where the fun part begins. We are going to attach our center fronts to our backs. So if you have your back sewn, go ahead and open him up. And then we're going to take our front, so right sides together, and you are going to pin completely around him, pin everything, and then we will go over how to sew him because there's a couple things you don't want to sew. So let me get him pinned and then we'll go over that. Okay, so I got this bad boy all pinned. I have a lot of pins in him so that he doesn't move. Whenever I monetize, if I do, the first thing I am going to buy are some wonder clips, because damn do I need those things. But we are going to start stitching. Now, you want to leave your darts open. So when you're stitching around your bear, don't stitch these. Leave these. So stop here, continue here, and go around on both of the feet. Do not stitch the darts. So I'm just going to start from the top of the head. I'm going to stitch completely around my bear, and we left an opening in the back of the bear so that we can turn him once we're done stitching. So let me get him stitched, and then we'll move on to how to sew the darts together. Okay, so I stitched all the way around the bear, leaving my dart seams open, and you're done. No, I'm just kidding. Now we're going to do the dart seams. Just going to open it up like this. Okay, so I have it lined up here. I'm just going to stitch across there. I mean, it's not super lined up, but don't worry about it. It's a dart seam. So now he is fully sewn. I have my dart seams done on the bottom. Now what you want to do is just go around your bear and clip your corners. And I usually just clip everywhere so that when I turn him around, he isn't as puckery. So I've clipped all the way around him. Now we are ready to turn him right side out. So with that opening that you left on step number 3, go ahead and stick your hand in there and start turning him. Okay, so your bear's gonna look like that. So go ahead and get him stuffed, and then we will hand sew close the opening. So I've stuffed him and I hand sewed the opening closed. So that's what he looks like. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you could find a pattern somewhat similar to this. I know right now it's hard to buy patterns because of the situation we're in, but hopefully you find something, and I hope you enjoy this. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Also check out my Facebook page for our monthly creations. We do one every month. I know we kind of missed last month with everything that was happening, so he's a little late. But stay tuned because in 2 more weeks I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to make a double-sided garden flag. I will be using my embroidery machine, but if you don't have one, don't worry about it, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.